Welcome back to Open Line, talking about paranormal activity. We have with us investigators from Military Veterans Paranormal, MVP. These are veterans who are also investigating reports of paranormal activity. It's, of course, the day before Halloween, so why not talk about this? Melanie Ramsey, the founder, and lead investigator Adam Barton are both here. We have a couple of calls I'm going to get to, but as I went to the break, I asked, has there been a case where you have seen someone get harmed by some paranormal thing?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
We see it's tricky for me. You're killing me.
You're more of a skeptic, so I'm surprised to hear you say yes.
Now, there's a caveat to this. I don't know if it's a paranormal thing necessarily, but I have seen an investigator get hit in the neck with a rock. And keep in mind, we don't go like lights out. I make sure that there's lights on, even if it's low light, because people who make paranormal claims, they're not doing it in pitch black, otherwise they wouldn't see anything. So we have to recreate the same kind of ambiance, and everybody is within eye view, and he got hit in the neck with a rock. That was interesting.
All right, and you can't explain how that
I cannot
happened.
explain it, neither can the other individuals in the room, because there was velocity, there was trajectory, and it came up to hit him in the neck, and he kind of freaked out on us. It was funny.
So how then are you not 100% sure that this...
Because I didn't see where the rock came from. I know. We battle, and some of my other team members and I battle. I did not see where the rock came from. I just saw the tail end of it and his reaction.
And so our first caller, Brian, he said he heard footsteps upstairs in some old house. I guess my question is, that would freak me out. Okay, I would be freaked out naturally. But do the footsteps ever come down and harm the person, or are they just uncomfortable, like really uncomfortable? And Adam, what about that?
I've never personally been harmed, but I'd say it's more the uncomfortable. That's really what you gotta base it to as an average homeowner who knows nothing about this, who doesn't really want this in their house, and they're hearing this, and now they hear the footsteps come down, walk right past them. Yeah, if I had nothing to do with the paranormal, I would be totally freaked out and running out of my house.
Sounds don't harm you.
Right.
Sounds don't harm you, but they can scare you. And fear and emotions, that's contagious. And if you have children, then it makes it even worse. And as parents, I know that if my child is scared, I get very antsy. You know, you want to fix it. How can you fix something you can't see? How can you fix something you can't prove? So yeah, in that respect, mentally and emotionally, it can be harmful because you're up for days. Have we heard footsteps? Have I? Yes. Can we explain them? No. And that's why I'm still in the paranormal. Like I said, you know, we've come across things that we cannot provide a logical, plausible explanation. I have to say that they are outside of the normal in that respect. That's paranormal. But,
and that's fascinating stuff. Let's go to Terrence. I'm gonna go through some calls now. Terrence, go right ahead. Are you there, Terrence?
Yes, a question.
Okay.
What can they do? Can they catch these things and trap them to remove them?
No. I will tell you point blank, Terrence, if somebody tells you that they have a box and they can catch a spirit in this box and then blow it up, find a different team. And the reason why is, if a spirit can go through a wall, what makes you think that they're going to stay in a box? Do I think that there might be religious people or people who can specialize in that? If they say they have that gift, I'm not one to question it, but we do not. That's outside of our skill set, so no, we don't do that.
I'm glad you asked that question, Terrence, because I was going to ask that. So let's say this is one of those cases where you believe there's paranormal activity, you can identify something. What do you tell the homeowner? What do you do? Do you tell them, get out of there, or do you tell them, how do you get rid of this thing?
That's not on us. We present them with the data, and depending on their beliefs, we can put them in touch with the right people who specialize in what they call exercising or cleansing,
yeah.
however you want to look at that.
So
but
we find out that.
To follow up, Terrence, first rule of thermodynamics is energy cannot be created or destroyed. So that right there basically sums that up. They can't catch it and they can't destroy it. So it can only change forms.
And is that what you think this is? I mean, what is this, would you say? You're saying energy? What would you say?
I feel like we're energy. So when I die, there's a very good, I believe that I have a soul, so do I have a chance of going to the light, or do I get to avoid the light, avoid judgment? I think that's more of what it is.
You think it's people that either chose not to go to the light or towards judgment and that are staying behind.
Yes.
For some reason. And you wouldn't, all right, so then you would call in, if you did identify something, you would call someone else in. It's not your job.
Right.
That's not your expertise.
I find out what their subscribed belief is. And you know, after you've done this for so long, you make contacts and you realize, okay, these people are really credible. We've put certain people in touch with the Catholic Church, some with actual natives. You know, I'm native, so we'll put them in touch with somebody who does that sort of cleansing. I would tell people, don't believe what you read online. You can't, you know, just pull out sage from your back pocket and cleanse your house that way. It doesn't, trust me, it doesn't work. Not to say that, you know, my house is haunted or anything, and I've tried that came out wrong, but you know, it's not like you can just read up on something like that. So I put them in touch with people that I feel have their best interests, that follow their subscribed belief.
Well, let's go to Ann. Hello, Ann. Are you there right now, Ann?
Yes, I'm here.
Great, go right ahead.
Okay, so I live in East Nashville, and I live on a real small street, 2 blocks long, and subdivision was built 1930s, 40s, so it's not an old subdivision. And I've got a house 3 doors down that's been empty now for 20 years, and I know the history of it, multiple deaths, burning down, no electricity, the lights. I can tell you stories that'll make your skin crawl. And they all go back to a little girl. Families that have left their belongings, and I mean all of their belongings, in the middle of the night. And my street had 17 homes built on it in the last 2 years. Not one car parked in front of this house. Not one during this entire time construction was going on. What can I do to find out the history of this home? Like I said, it's been empty for 20 years. And I've lived here for 40. My husband's been here for 60. I'm dying to know the history behind it, because I know that this has got something going on.
All right, let's talk about that. Ann, all right, thank you. All right, what do you recommend she do here?
Well, the first thing that she can do, Miss Ann, is that you can pull deeds. You can actually and find out who owners are, how long they've owned it. You can look at within your subdivision, that tells a tale within the deeds and the titles, who owned what, things like that. Sometimes what happens inside of a home can't necessarily be disclosed to you, but you can also contact and look at, did someone rent them? Do you know somebody who's in the family of somebody who stayed there, and then maybe try and reach out and contact them. I can't tell you that every single time you're going to be able to find the history, but the first place you can look at is public record. Look at the deeds, look at what that plot was. I can tell you right now, though, please don't believe it when somebody just automatically will tell you. This happens more often than not. If they don't have an explanation, they'll tell you it's a Native American burial ground. Not true. Not true. Tennessee had these things called mound builders. But, you know, you can look at things like that and keep digging. Don't take one person's word, and don't necessarily believe what you read online.
So she believes tragedy was at that house, and that is then the reason that there may be some paranormal situation there.
Well, it's quite possible. The fact that nobody has been in that house for so long, and it is a residential, that would pique my interest. That would make me say, okay, what's going on here? So I would definitely look at something like that.
And in your opinion, Adam, okay, what is it about tragedy? I mean, so your theory would be somebody dies, they don't go toward the light, they're left here. Why is it tragedy that keeps them here? Why can't it be somebody who lived a great life and just wants to hang around longer?
Tragedy, wow, that's actually a really good question. They may not know they're dead. Sometimes I honestly believe that they don't know that they passed on. Like, I got in a really bad car wreck when I was 18 years old. This goes into a whole nother topic of discussion, but did I live, or am I living in a simulated reality?
Right.
So that spirit may not know that they're dead. So the people moving in there may be intruding on their space, and they're going, ooh, maybe they're thinking they're being haunted. So they're trying to run them out, just as, you know, these people want to stay here, they want to stay here. So it could be two battles going on there.
Now that's fascinating.
It also, if you think about it, it could also be, and this is just something else that I've heard, especially from service members downrange, you know, that think that they saw a battle buddy and there was no way that they could have seen them because that person had passed. I've actually talked to soldiers who have sworn that they've seen a soldier, and there's no possible way. And they're like, I just talked to him. Well, they'd already died. And maybe it's because they have unfinished business. Maybe they know they've passed, but they're just not done. They've got something else to do. They've got to say final goodbyes. It's possible. Or maybe they're just angry. They're not ready to die.
Right.
Why would you haunt and be angry and make everybody else get out of your house if you're happy-go-lucky and la-di-da, here I am?
I'd do it just because I could.
That's true.
All right, we're going to take a break. Lucy, hold on the line. We'll get to your call. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.